Hi, this is Micornus Phokane, the leader and the founder of Church Governance Solutions. I want to speak today about what makes successful churches to be successful. Those churches that you look at and say, but that is a successful church. I want to speak about what makes that particular church to be successful. Because even your own church can be successful. It's not exempted, it's not actually being stopped. It is because some indicators of successful churches, when you honestly look at what makes successful churches successful and you start implementing that as well, your church shall be successful as well. There are many pastors that look at other people's churches. It looks like the other pastors are more successful than them. It looks like those churches are more successful than theirs. I want to teach that today so that you can understand that there are some tips that we can give you for you to make your own church to be successful. And you are able to make your own church to be successful. And we're emphasizing that today. And I hope that will help you as we do teach you right now on this regard. What makes successful churches successful? Number one, wisdom of appointing good and credible leadership team. That power of appointing the right leadership, appointing people that are credible enough, appointing people that have got skills of being leaders, people that are leaders in the making, people that are able to do things according to the way leaders should be, not only doing by skills, but the lifestyle that they implement, or the character and the moral, that moral standard and moral fiber that they show, because all those are very key, because that is what makes them to be credible. Now, when your leadership is credible and they are skilled and knowledgeable and they are having talent to be leaders, you are in for a good ride. And I want to urge you as a pastor that please prioritize appointing the right people in right positions. Prioritize having a very good, consistent and credible leadership. Because without good leadership, you are doomed, pastor, and your church shall not move an inch when you don't have the right people in right places. Now, people that have got wisdom to appoint the right leadership, they're starting at a good footing because they are able actually to start off the church, and then the leaders are able to take it up and start running with the vision. And we have seen that when you've got good leadership, you start to see movement into the right direction. So appoint the right leaders. Secondly, good administrative structures put in place. Very, very important. And now when we speak about administrative structures, it's very key for us to understand that you need to have the right books. You need to write the right structures. Like, for instance, you need to have a constitution of that church. And secondly, you need to have a bank account for the church. And thirdly, you need to have an administrator in the church. You need to have somebody who will capture members, who will capture every activity, including finances. Somebody who will make sure that there's a database for the church members. Somebody will make sure that there are some membership forms that people can actually complete and have a database of the church. Ability to have contact details of your own members. Now, we're talking also about having good structure of departments in your church that are structured and everybody is actually in the right place. So you're having structures of departments that are having right leaders, good leaders that are trained properly, that are running those departments effectively. So you're talking about the whole overall administration. Very, very key, because the churches that are not well administered, they cannot grow because they stifled by the poor administration itself. Because things that are not supposed to be done, they will be done. Things that are supposed to be done, they are not done. And you start to have a problem in running of the church when there is no administrative structure. And I want to urge pastors to really relook at your administration. Look at the books that you have. What are you having? Are you having membership forms? Are you having membership books? Are you having records of your finances correctly? Are you having good filing of paperwork? Are you able to have auditors to look into your finances? All those things, we're speaking about that because that's part of administration as well. I'm not going to dwell much on the examples, but I want to emphasize that most of us know what a good administration is all about. And that is one thing that makes what we call successful churches to be successful. Now, strong financial management, very, very key in churches. And I must emphasize that many churches are very lax in this regard. They're very lazy to really structure their finances very well. We have seen churches that are running like sponsor shops. They're running like small entities in a way, because even when you are small, you still need to be considering the financial management to be very important, because the finances, how they run, they are going to determine how far you can go. Because when you run your finances very well and administer them very well, you're more likely to have a great potential to become a great church and to grow quickly because of the finances. Remember that churches depend mainly on finances. If you were to build a building, a church building, you need finances, and finances that are properly administered. Very, very important. And I'm sure you would know that this speaking about finances is very key. And we have got a module as Church Governance Solutions that speaks exclusively about finances and how to manage your finances and so on. And that is why I'm not going to dwell much on that. I want to just emphasize the fact that you need to administer your finances right and correctly. And they need to be managed by the right people that are knowledgeable in managing money, that are knowledgeable as well in administering money, because that's very, very important that we do so. And I want to also emphasize the fact that you need to have an ability to create opportunities for members to participate one way or another in the church. Because if we are going to speak about successful church, a successful church is not going to be a church that is carried by an individual. It's not going to be the pastor who's doing everything, jack of all trades, master of none, and people are sitting and watching like they're watching a movie. People are folding their arms like they're in a stadium watching watching sports. I want to emphasize that we need people to administer, to participate. When you have more people participating in your church, you're more likely going to see your church successful. Because successful churches are driven by how many members are committed, how many members are able to participate. The more you have participating members, the more structured and your church become more stronger. I'm emphasizing that because I hope this will help you as an individual pastor wherever you are. Very, very important that we emphasize that, and it will help you as we do so. I want to emphasize also the fact that when you create opportunities for them, you're therefore mentoring them, you're therefore giving them platform to participate, you're therefore shaping their skills as a result, because people can only gain confidence when they're given platform to participate. And I must emphasize that in any church that people are given platform to participate, those members, as a result, they become very committed and they do things that are more progressive in that particular church. Now, another thing is presence of culture of love and care for others, despite of status, color, or creed in the church. Very important that we develop in any church the culture of love and care for others. Where there's love, where there's care, then there's progress. Because when there is no love and no care, many people will walk out of that church and don't want to be part of that church. They don't want to associate with that church at all. I'm emphasizing this because I believe that we are all having potential to remain and become participants in any church, make the church successful, because we are the people that need to make the church successful. But that can only be determined whether there's a culture of loving one another, there's a culture of caring for each other in a church. Because if there's no way that people respect each other and honor each other, then the church is doomed to fail. And I'm emphasizing this because there are many churches that would actually look at each other based on status, based on levels, based on what car you're driving, what house are you staying in, what locality are you staying in, and so on. People classify themselves because of that. Are you poor? I don't associate with poor people. Rich, they don't associate with poor people. And all those, if they are preeminent in a church, if that's the culture of your church, that is what is stalling your church from success. I'm saying that it is very important that If we want to see a successful church, we need not to be segregating. We need to be together. We need to be united. So everyone, you need to be united in love and caring for each other despite of the color and race of others, despite of social status, despite of educational levels as well. So very, very important. When there's such a culture of love and care, then the church then is bound to become successful. We're mentioning that because in many churches it's not like so. Good and well-structured follow-up team that is able to identify members who face challenge like death, for instance. Those that face challenges like sicknesses in the church, poverty, demonic attacks, and visit them at home and follow them up and start supporting them. So that follow-up structure is very important, because when people know that people can identify them when they're going through problems, they want to be part of the church. And those particular churches, they become successful because they realize that there's a care and love in that church. People follow me up when I'm going through rough times. People are supporting me when I'm going through death of a loved one, or I'm sick, or I'm going through demonic attacks. People are supporting me. When you look at that, you'll start to realize that people become more committed in the church, and that makes churches to be successful. Very, very important. Now, I want to say you need to have ability in to touch with the community, the church, where the church is situated. Successful churches are those that are able to be in touch with their communities, to be in touch with the locality, the people, society around them, and be able to assist them. When there's death in one of the people in the communities, the church is there first to go and pray with the people, support them, and so on, to conduct the funeral. And if you've got a building as a church, you are able to allow the whole community to come and have meetings in that particular church structure or building, whereby there's a funeral of the community members. They're able to hold funerals in that church. So when you as a church become embraced into the same community where you are, you become successful in that community, because you're welcomed, you are accepted by the community. When you are accepted by the community, you are therefore being able to be embraced. And for that reason, I want to emphasize that you become successful as a church. Successful churches are actually supported by the communities, while they themselves support the communities. Finally, prioritize the Great Commission of evangelism, Muruti, and in your church, make sure that you prioritize that. Make sure that there's evangelism spirit. Make sure that there's outreach. There are crusades. There are open airs. There are door-to-doors as well. And all that evangelistic word or evangelistic work, very, very important. And when a church considers that, you are actually inviting more people to come and fill up the church and be part of the church. And that becomes very key and very important. And I'm emphasizing that because a church without evangelism will not grow at all. I want to check out right here, but before I check out, I want to remind you of our Facebook page, Micornus Phokane Facebook page, Church Governance Solutions. And also don't forget our YouTube channel, please, Micornus Phokane. So like and subscribe, and make sure that you click notification buttons as well. And when you've done so, you will be notified when we've posted videos of this kind, and that will help you going forward. Your church shall never be the same, sir. And please follow us on our social media platforms at all times, and the good Lord will bless you. And cheers for now.